So the days come when we have this threefold conjunction in the 19th degree of Taurus of Uranus, the North Node, and Mars. I've spoken about this a couple of times already recently, but what's happening now for about 7 days is that Mars joins Uranus and the North Node. So you have a triple conjunction in the same degree, same Sabian degree. Very unusual indeed. Really, very unusual. Now, Mars conjuncts Uranus somewhat frequently. It has a 2-year cycle, and in that time Uranus will move forward. So Mars conjunct Uranus, it happens every 3 years, give or take. You know, Mars has got a very strange way of movement. The node and Uranus are in conjunction only every 15 years or so. The triple conjunction is, I don't know, it probably never happened before, for all I know. But the energizing principle of Mars added to this high state of energy of Uranus is the major feature here. We are discovering our spiritual path for the next period of time, for the rest of our lives, we might as well say. And Mars is there to make sure we act upon that. So it is one thing to understand spirit, is another thing to align it with your own personal path, which is now the conjunction with the North Node. It is a third operation to do something about it. And that's what Mars is doing in Taurus, a newly formed continent. The danger with the Mars-Uranus conjunction is that you're not going to hold the discipline necessary to channel Uranus through Mars. It has a reputation for being quite dangerous. Now, it also has the relationship with excitement and adventure and energizing and so on. So Mars-Uranus can actually be a heightened expression of energy. Mars-Uranus conjunction, especially in Taurus, when you're actually going to want to get things done. You want to create something that's tangible, that's got form. It's in Taurus. So that must happen. And yet Uranus, Mars just don't really work together very well. Mars likes Pluto. Uranus likes Mercury. You know, that these are the connections that we're taught. So Mars-Uranus is very often something to be very careful about indeed, because potentially you can break things, including bits of your body. You can mess things up by doing things without sufficient care and attention. So for this particular week, we have to be very careful indeed about what we're doing, but most particularly how we're doing it. What we're doing is very likely to give us a tremendously insightful clue into our spiritual program, our sort of the best track for our spiritual evolution. Now, not everybody gives a huge amount of energy to their spiritual evolution. They just think they're growing, isn't that lovely? But actually, you can push yourself in a given direction. You can direct yourself towards activities like workshops and reading books and behaviors that support your spiritual philosophy. And you can do that as a way of life, prioritizing it, in other words, over keeping the wolf from the door or being ambitious to be successful in the eyes of the world. You can prioritize your spiritual direction. And now's a good time to do that, because the North Node will show you what needs to be done next. What's your direction? It'll give you a route map taking you forward in decades. You know, it's a really slow moving energy, the North Node axis. Uranus will give you the oversight. It's like well, let's say you open your third eye for a short period of time. That's probably the best way of describing it. Or you go up in an aeroplane and you can see you can see more. You have this oversight, but it's fast and it's not easily grasped, hence the advice the other day to write things down. So that's what we're discussing, and Mars comes into the equation, and it's all like a military man, not great in thinking. It's doing, isn't it? And in Taurus, it's physically doing. So you have the image of like a Roman legionnaire or something saying, right, I'll do this, and just getting on with something without particularly being sensitive to what might happen. Now that's not okay in this particular case, because if you do the wrong thing with a Mars-Uranus aspect of any kind, true, the conjunction is the best, shall we say, to try this, but Mars-Uranus, you can go very wrong with that. It can be very dangerous, accident-prone, and so on. You have to be very careful that you're building something in a Taurus-like way. Now that's one brick at a time. You lay the foundation stone. You make sure it's strong, and then you build upon that, and you make sure that's strong, and then you add other things, and you make sure that those are strong. That's Taurus. Step at a time, deliberately, slowly, determinedly, stubbornly. That's Mars in Taurus. And Uranus isn't like that at all. Uranus has an idea and just goes and wants everything built immediately. That's the trouble that we've got with these two energies. They just don't work together. Now, the way in which they could work together is that Taurus, strong like a bull, stubborn, can take the Uranus energy within it and slow things down, store it up in its body, hold the tension, and eventually slowly let it out, bit by bit by bit. Now, I know that Uranus is an outer planet and Taurus is only a little inner planet, but nevertheless, Mars in Taurus can do that. And I know that because I've got a Mars in Taurus. I know I can do that. I can actually hold energy in and release it very, very slowly in a determined way and not get shaken. But it requires a decision to do that, a focus to do that, and an awareness that if I actually let go of the reins, all hell will break loose. That's how it feels. But it's possible. So you need to perhaps find that quality within yourself that is stubborn and slow and determined to build something that will not fall down. And we can talk about metaphorically a building in the garden, or we can talk of your structure of developing a spiritual program. Map out what you're going to do. Map out your spiritual practices. Map out the qualities that you're trying to develop in a very deliberate kind of way. And that's how to handle this energy, I would say. And then we have the newly formed continent. It's so exciting. The idea is that we've actually reached a point. Of course, in world history, things are really changing. And they're changing fast. And they're changing in a way that nobody knows. That there are so many people now pulling strongly in their different directions. People are really reaffirming their agenda now, not only on the political stage, the world stage, but also personally. You have to find what it is you're going to invest your life in. And this is the time to do that. And everyone else is doing that. There's a lot of tension in the world, in keeping with the idea of tectonic plates pushing up new mountain ranges. It's a big deal. That's what's happening. We're actually going through a process where a new range of mountains will exist soon in the form of a superpower or a series of economic changes or mass migration or climate change. There's all manner of big things inevitably going to happen very soon without even thinking about the demographic time bombs in various countries that will make their economies collapse and stuff. There are superpowers who are actually coming forward now, and other superpowers that are dying away. I mean, I'm not expert enough to discuss geopolitics in great depth, but such countries as Turkey coming forward, such countries of Russia and China, they're threatened by the current circumstances. And that actually makes a big shift. I saw that with the Soviet Union collapse. It makes a big difference to your personal life when these geopolitical changes take place. So that's the kind of thing that's happening now.